1st of April. It's, of course, April Fool's Day, and that always means we get some sort of special April Fool's event. It's been featured a couple of times in the past, in previous years, where we've had the likes of Ditto, Zora being featured, and this year there's a little bit different. So Spotlight Hour is, of course, tonight, 6 p.m. till 7 p.m, and as you can see, Spotlight Hour is filled with Pokeballs on the map. Now, this is all part of the event, and it is, of course, all the Pokemon that can be disguised as Pokeballs. That is the Spotlight Hour for tonight. And there is also an added bonus of 2 times catch candy. So we're going to be finding out what exactly these Pokemon are that are disguised as Pokeballs. Now, some of those, like you can see there, some of these Pokeballs are in fact actually Pokeballs. You can find Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls. And then some of them are indeed Pokemon. So let's go ahead and see what we can find. A very, very weird event. It's not anything that I've been familiar with it in the past. It's probably the first time we've done this sort of event where you can quite literally find items on the map itself. So a very, very strange and peculiar event, but quite a nice idea. And of course, some of these Pokemon you might be very familiar with. Of course, Fungus does look like a Pokeball from the top. And then we have, of course, Voltorb, one of the classic Pokemon from Generation 1. And of course, based on a Pokeball design as well. So all of the Pokemon featured are that sort of same theme, can easily disguise as a Pokeball. And like you can see there, we can actually just find Pokeballs themselves lying about. Now, some are in fact the evolution. So, of course, Fungus evolves into Amoonguss, and there is an Amoonguss there. 1,576 CP on this Amoonguss. So we don't actually know what we're going to be getting until we click on the Pokeball, and then it will transform, or it may just be an item itself. So it's all a little bit confusing. So let me know in the comments down below if you've managed to get yourself some of these Pokeballs on the map. A very strange event, but of course, April Fools, we expect nothing different than to be tricked by something. I'm liking the Pokeballs though. I'm liking being able to find these Pokeballs. 4 Pokeballs around us then, and only one of them was an encounter. Now, I'm unsure if you use a Pokemon Go Plus device, or any similar device, whether that would actually collect the Pokeballs for you, with them not actually being Pokemon. I don't know whether it would, but might be worth a try. So we've had Voltorb, Fungus, and Amoonguss so far. Let's see what else we can find from these very weird spawns. Now, these Pokeballs have been displayed or been in the wild all day today, but they are literally everywhere now during the Spotlight Hour, as you'd expect from Spotlight Hour spawns. But it does make the spawns look very, very weird, and you'll see in just a moment when we're in more of a spawn-filled area just how weird that's going to look with all those Pokeballs around us. Now, I don't know whether the evolutions, Amoonguss is the only evolution we've found so far, but I don't know if that is available to be shiny, or whether it is just, of course, the likes of Voltorb and Fungus. Of course, both those have full odd shinies, 1 in 512 for those two. Hey, thanks very much for joining. Another fungus there. So a very, very strange spotlight out. Voltorb, another Voltorb, but this time Hisuian Voltorb. That is a shiny boost. That can be 1 in 64 shiny chance for this one. And it does go to that lovely colour. That black colour really does make it a very, very nice looking shiny. Now, one of those Pokeballs was in fact an Ultra Ball that time. So we could definitely get all the different variations of Pokeball. Well, the 3 main ones, should we say. And then, of course, some of those disguise as Pokemon, which is what it's all about. So let's see what other Pokemon we encounter. We've had both forms of Voltorb. We've had Fungus. And let's see what else we can encounter in this rather busy spawn area here. There is a Hisuian Voltorb we were just on about. Second one of those now. So if we are to get a shiny tonight, it might be the Hisuian one, with that being the increased odds. Great ball that time found. It would be interesting to know if the accessory devices would pick these up, with them being just standard items some of the time. Fungus, very hard to know if that's a shiny or not, until it eventually sparkles. Another Voltorb, this time a normal one. And it is a little bit weird not knowing what you're going to get. And it's sometimes very difficult on trying to click on these Pokeballs as well. Spawn circle doesn't seem to be that big. I bet there's been loads of different prankings at school and at places, workplace and stuff like that. It's been rather a humorous day for that sort of thing. Right, so let's spin that gym there before we go too far away. And then let's go ahead and see what other Pokeballs we can find. Just completely swap the class over, that's meant. That's quite clever. Yeah, see if you can get away with the same prank. Would be funny if you could do it on the same teacher as well, that would be hilarious. Huge Fungus. Unfortunately, no shiny. So we aren't seeing much more than Voltorbs and Fungus at the moment. We have had Fungus's evolved form among us. Let's see if we can find any other different Pokemon. I can think of a couple off the top of my head. What could also disguise as a Pokeball. Let's see if they are actually in this event or not. Only a few items. Electrode. Voltorb's evolved form. I don't know if you can get the Hisuian Electrode. I'm guessing you can from this event. Another fungus. Now with all these funguses, we are actually going to put a star piece on, because fungus, I'm sure, is one of the ones that gives you increased stardust from catching it. So let's go ahead and put an hour's worth of star pieces on, just to last the remaining 45 minutes of the spotlight hour. This is a very, very strange spotlight hour. I did not think for one moment I was going to be going around and clicking on a load of Pokeballs on the map to try and see what Pokeball are inside them. It's crazy. It'd be really good if you just did this feature where when you were low on Pokeballs after a big event, they just literally Pokeballs on the map. They weren't Pokemon, but you could just literally go around collecting loads of items. That would be really, really useful. That should definitely be a feature. So no shinies as of yet. We are just going to do this Ghastly. I didn't realise Ghastly was back on Dynamax. Obviously the start of a new week. We had Dynamax Score Bunny yesterday on Max Monday. And you can get a Hisuian Electrode. There we go, that answered. That question answered. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. So in terms of Dynamax Ghastly, we need 702, which is the hundo. Would be very nice if we managed to get that live on the stream. Let's give this a go. Relatively easy again, because of course we have some maxed out level 50 Dynamax now, because of all the Gigantamax we've had to prepare for. And of course we aren't far away from another Gigantamax release, and that is of course Snorlax. Snorlax is going to be the next Gigantamax released onto the game. And that won't be this weekend, it'll be the weekend after, where we get Gigantamax Snorlax. Of course, this weekend we'll see Mega Ardeno released into the game for the first time. And we will get Tyrogue Hatch Day. So that's an increased shiny chance of Tyrogue hatching from 2 kilometer eggs during the event time. So really, really good events this weekend. 673, so no hundo and no shiny, annoyingly. But still, it's a Dynamax Ghastly, and we like Ghastly here on this channel. So more Pokeballs to collect. Stunfisk, that is one of the Pokemon I was thinking about. And being that we get the Galarian Stunfisk, I can only assume that we get the standard Stunfisk as well. But of course Galarian does have the shiny boosted odds of 1 in 64, whereas I believe the normal Stunfisk is full odds at 1 in 512, similar to of course Voltorb and Hisuian Voltorb. Let's see if we can get any of these shiny today. It would be very, very weird to get a shiny from a standard Pokeball on the map. And I can't seem to click on that one. It's not registering that one. Whether that's just a little glitch, but it's not actually registering that I can click on that Pokeball there. It seems to have glitched out. I can seemingly click on everything else, but I can't click on that one. It's a little bit weird. Must be a shiny one, I'm guessing. No Marlow. This person's been on here for quite a while, so we'll take this gym as we go by. Hopefully we haven't had their coins already today. then we'll go ahead and put a Pokemon on quickly before we check all these Pokeballs. So let's just go Gengar, chuck Gengar on that, and we'll chuck one with a costume on. Shiny Gengar with a Halloween costume. So it does seem to be a case that when you try and quick throw on these, if it doesn't catch, the Pokemon will just appear on the map normally. It won't return back to a Pokeball. Once you've discovered what that Pokeball is, it will just stay that on the map. Now, of course, we still haven't done our daily adventure incense today, and we'll put that on in just a second after we've caught this fungus. Didn't want to stay in the first ball. And it will be interesting to see what spawns off a daily adventure incense, whether it will be Pokeballs or whether it will be Pokemon. Let's just see what this first spawn is. Voltorb there from me, not from the daily, but oh, it is spawning Pokemon, so it is spawned a Furfrou as a first spawn. It would be interesting to see if that remains the case, or whether we start seeing the Pokeballs spawning from a daily. That Furfrou has not stayed in the ball. Let's try it again. There we go. Now, it's been a long time since we've seen a Galarian bird, and of course we are trying to hunt down these shiny Galarian birds, as I'm sure most of you lot are who are watching. But we've made it our mission to try and get a shiny Galarian bird at some stage during this year, and it would be awesome if we get one during one of the live streams. That would be absolutely fantastic. And again, not spawned a Pokeball and not spawning any of the Pokemon that are featured. It's spawned a Shelmet this time off the daily. So it could be a daily adventure incense that isn't affected by the Spotlight Hour spawns, which is potentially good news. Let's just see what we are with particles. We can claim that 300. So again, a Herdier. So definitely doesn't seem to be anything related to this event off the daily adventure incense. It is just completely random. Sometimes when you do your daily adventure incense during a community day or during a Spotlight Hour, you tend to get a lot of the Pokemon that are featured during that hour or that community day, instead of getting your random everyday daily adventure incense spawns. But today doesn't seem to be the case. Of course, with most of the Pokemon hiding in these Pokeballs which appear on the map, it's perhaps a lot harder to make that happen. I'm quite liking these Pokeballs being on the map, Among Us there. Now I'm sure these are increased Stardust, if we can catch it. Obviously Among Us along with Fungus, its first form. I'm sure they are increased Stardust. Let's have a quick look and see how much we get. So we do get just over 1,000, so yes, it should be around about 750 for Among Us, and then we get 50% more because of that star piece that we've got going on. Tranquil, not the bird I wanted off the daily, but still, nonetheless, we have a Tranquil. So we're now 22 minutes into this very weird spotlight hour. Never had a spotlight hour like this before. And of course, that is why on all the information, we knew about all the April events except for the spotlight hour. It was hidden. It was just question marks written over it, and nothing had been released. We'd kept it very, very quiet. Normally we see leaks appearing and different things appearing. Obviously you have these people who can find some information beforehand in the game code, and nobody really found this out beforehand, so it was completely hidden. So we did a really good job at hiding that. It is a pretty cool April Fool's event. Of course, we have had events in the past which have arguably better because of shiny increased odds for the likes of Ditto and Zorua more recently, but with April Fools you can't do too much. We've definitely thought outside the box a bit with this one. And instead of trying to get Pokemon that disguise as other Pokemon now, we are doing Pokemon that disguise as items, which is pretty cool. So it seems like most of these up here are actually Pokemon when we click on these Pokeballs. And a couple of items there back to back. One Pokeball and one Great Ball. Houndoom off the daily adventure. Electrode just jumping too often there to get a decent throwaway. They do seem very, very bouncy, some of these Pokemon that are spawning. Now, I don't know whether these evolutions can be shiny. I'm not yet sure. If you have had one of these evolutions shiny from today's event, let me know in the comments down below. It would be great to know if anybody has. But they are pretty cool spawns nonetheless, whether they can be shiny or not. And of course, if you are tuning in for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. And make sure to turn on that notification bell. We do go live probably around about 2, if not 3 times a week. Max Monday Spotlight Hour seems to be the continuous live streams now going forward. And then we always try and go live on a Saturday or Sunday, mainly a Sunday at around about midday here in the UK. We'll go live, so make sure to keep out for that. And that live stream will be mainly to do with the current event, whatever that may be. Of course, this next event starts on Thursday, and that will be the Paldean Taurus being released. And of course, we have loads of different forms of them. We have 3 different forms, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. And they are on raid, so you might be able to remote raid some of them from different regions and be able to get the other ones that way. So hopefully your friends list will help you out with that. Shiny Voltorb, let's go. So we have had a shiny from today's Spotlight Hour. Lovely blue Voltorb. It is a very, very nice shiny indeed. But a shiny, let's go. So shiny blue Voltorb, and it's a 0-star, of course it is. It's a shiny. It was bound to be terrible stats. 9 times out of 10, that seems to be the case. But still, it's a lovely blue shiny Voltorb on the live stream for this very weird April Fool's event. Which is nice to have a shiny. It is full odds on that one, 1 in 512. Another Voltorb, this time not shiny. Messed up a quick throw there. Unable to run away now. Just have to watch this break out and then we'll try again. So still nothing yet spawned off a daily adventure incense. Definitely doesn't seem to be getting affected by this event. No Pokeballs off a daily, just random spawns as you'd expect any other day in between events. Among Us followed by a Fungus. And another Herdier off a daily. Seems a common daily spawn when we're out of events. Now, of course, we haven't lucky egged any of this Spotlight Hour tonight. It's not an XP boosted Spotlight Hour. We have got 2 times catch candy. So we are getting twice the amount of candy for every one of these Pokemon that we're catching. But other than that, it is not anything to do with XP. Of course, the Fungus and Among Us spawns are really good for your Stardust. But in terms of that, nothing for the XP today. So we haven't bothered with a lucky egg so far. And of course, with these Pokemon being very different from each other, it's sometimes difficult to get consistency with those excellent throws. So that's why we haven't bothered with a lucky egg tonight. But we are very, very close to another milestone in terms of XP. We are getting increasingly closer to the 700 million mark. You can see there 699,574,000. So potentially hitting 700 million later on today or tomorrow, depending on how much we do this evening. So it would be a pretty cool milestone to do, and it would be nice if we can get that as a round number. Would be very cool to see 7 followed by all those zeros at the end. It will be 8 zeros after the 7. Would be very cool to see that as a round number if we can. So we've only got a couple minutes left on the daily. These Voltorbs do not like staying still when it gets down towards the excellent circle. Seem to be moving a lot when it gets down to that smaller circle. It's definitely something I've seen more of in these wild spawns since around about Christmas time. And then of course we had during the Go Tour the black and white Kyurem with their adventure effects, and it did make a lot more sense that they'd made the excellent throws a little bit harder after Christmas, because then it enticed you to use those adventure effects from both white and black Kyurem, which do help stop the Pokemon from moving if you use a black one, and the white Kyurem effect enables you to hit that excellent throw a lot easier. It goes really fast down towards the excellent circle, but then slows down, and it allows you more time to hit that excellent circle. So that's definitely a reason why they've changed that. But it definitely seems to be the case. Pokemon do only seem to move when it's going down towards that excellent circle. 2K egg, nothing going to be really special in here. We have a Psyduck and a Hundo. Not far off. 91 IV there, 14, 13, 14. But still not good enough to be kept in our collection. couple of Pokeballs back to back there. 57 seconds left on the daily adventure. Another Pokeball. And this time we find a Pokemon spawn. As you can see, quick catch failed on that first attempt, so therefore the fungus pops up on the map, just like a normal Pokemon spawn would, instead of being in the Pokeball. Swinub, probably the second to last Pokemon that we're going to have off our daily adventure today. Probably get one more in if we're lucky. Hopefully it's a glaring bird. Fingers crossed. So 7 seconds left on the daily. And there it is, it's timed out, so no last minute spawn or last second spawn off the daily. We're all left with that Swinub being the last spawn. Essentially needed a couple more seconds for another one to pop up, but unfortunately no glaring bird today for another day now. So it's been around about a month or two now since we last saw a glaring bird. A little bit disappointed in that, but of course they aren't supposed to be common. They are supposed to be very, very rare. And of course, with them being legendary, they are 1 in 20 shiny odds. Now the shiny's been released. So I was just seeing that if there was any sort of visual glitch that you could tell whether it's a Pokemon or a item, but I don't think you can. I don't think there's any differences in these Pokeballs that are spawning in the map. It's just a case of clicking on them and seeing what happens, whether you collect a Pokeball or an Ultra Ball or a Great Ball, or whether in fact you do encounter one of these Pokemon. Now, we've had about 5 different Pokemon spawning. We've had both forms of Voltorb, normal and Hisuian. We've had their evolutions, Hisuian Electrode and normal Electrode. We've had Galarian Stunfisk. I can only assume you could get normal Stunfisk, but we haven't yet found one. And of course you can get Fungus and Amoonguss. We've had them as well. So let's see if we can find that normal Stunfisk, if at all possible, or unless it is just the Galarian one. Of course, the Galarian one does have a Pokeball disguised as its nose, and in the anime series it buries itself in sand to disguise as a Pokemon. Add me on Pokemon Go, please. Yeah, I'll put my train up code up in just a moment if you want to just hang on and you can add me. Should have a few spaces remaining. I have, so make sure to take a screenshot or write that number down and then add me when you can, and I'll accept it. If you add me within the next sort of half an hour, I will accept it live on the stream. If not, I'll accept it later on. So Hisuian Electrode. Normal Voltorb again this time. Still just a 1 shiny so far, 37 minutes in to the Spotlight Hour. So these are very jumpy tonight, these Pokemon spawns. Do seem to be moving quite a lot, jumping up and down. The Fungoose is relatively annoying to catch anyway. Electrode spawning in, one that we tried to catch before. Of course, didn't manage to, and still haven't managed to that time. A Mongoose again, no shiny of the evolutions. Don't know whether you can get those shiny. I know we have added some evolution shinies into the game. More recently, the community day, when the community day ticket changed. The additional ticket that you can buy in the item shop before every community day. The task and the rewards from them changed slightly since Christmas, and of course we now get the background with the community day, so you can get the community day featured Pokemon with the seasonal background. But during the paid for research, which is normally around about $1.99, you can actually encounter the evolutions and they can actually be shiny. So that's a new thing we've added into the game, is that those evolutions can be shiny now, whereas before it was never a possibility. A couple more Pokemon spawns there instead of the items. And our Articuno has seemingly done enough for today. We'll change that out for our Yveltal, our Hundo Yveltal. It is level 50 as well, this Yveltal, powered all the way up. I was hoping that with Yveltal and Xerneas being the featured legendaries of the new ZA game, I was hoping to see megas of both of these released, but it doesn't seem to be the case so far. Not unless they get added very late on. We'll have to wait and see. So another gym that's red, and we could probably add on, but we'll keep that gym space open for others, because I think we're quite close to being on the limit for the amount of gyms we're on. So yeah, we've probably got about 3 more gym spaces available before we end up on the limit, which is 20. So probably try and space these out a little bit and get some in a few different locations instead of all being in one area. That way we have a bit of a higher increase of getting our coins each day. So 19 minutes left of a spotlight hour, a very, very weird spotlight hour, of course, being April Fool's Day, the 1st of April. It was always going to be something weird, but I didn't expect to be clicking on all these random Pokeballs in the wild, not knowing what Pokemon they are until we click on them. But it is quite a nice little feature that we've based it around the Pokemon which disguise as Pokeballs off the anime series. Just the one shiny so far, and as we head back the same way in which we came, let's just check to see if we've managed to get any Hundos today. And we have got a Hundo Electrode, which is pretty cool really. We've had a Hundo in the wild. Now this was probably caught earlier today, in fact, and very, very nice Hundo Electrode. I don't think I've evolved this into Electrode. I think it's been caught as an Electrode, which is even cooler. A nice Hundo Electrode there. We'll just mark him up. So 1 Hundo today and 1 shiny today. And of course, XP wise, we are heading closer and closer to that 700 million mark. Another item found, this time a normal Pokeball, I believe, although it didn't really show then when we clicked on it. This time we have got a Pokemon spawn, a Voltorb. So hopefully there's a few new people watching my channel tonight. Make sure to get involved in the comments down below if it is your first time watching. And also make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Really do appreciate it as we build up the subscribers and make the channel bigger. The content and what I can give back to you also gets bigger. So to make the channel bigger, we need more subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button. So another item found. It seems to have glitched out and we can't actually see what the item is. It's obviously going to be one of the 3 Pokeballs, either normal, great or Ultra Ball. But it doesn't seem to be showing us exactly which one it is. Although we don't really mind. We're happy with any Pokeballs that we find. Now we should get a few additional spawns heading up here now. We should get quite an increase of spawns. It's normally a pretty good spawn spot up here. There is another glaring Stunfisk. I think only the second one of the evening so far. And it didn't want to stay in the ball that time. Let's try again. Again, a terrible throw. I'm surprised it's not. I'm not surprised it didn't want to stay in the ball there. Does not like me tonight, this glaring Stunfisk does not. Let's try it with a little bit better throw. There we go, great throw. That time it stays in. Among Us, we've had a couple of these tonight. Doesn't appear that these can be shiny. Just a nice evolution spawn. And a nice excellent throw, although it didn't stay in. Let's see if it will stay in with a golden raspberry. Hopefully so. And another excellent throw, and that time it did. Voltorb. It is the only shiny that we've had tonight. This standard Voltorb from Gen 1. Lovely blue colour when it goes shiny. Excellent throw on the electrode there. And as you can see, the spawns are starting to get a little bit better now. As we head into a bit of uncharted territory for tonight's live stream. We haven't been down this way so far. I did wonder whether that was a shiny fungus then, but it wasn't. It is really hard to tell with fungus. The white part of fungus doesn't really change much. Tiny Voltorb this time. Whether it's just a Pokemon we are or whether it's this event, we definitely seem to be moving more than we normally do. Finally, a couple of items over in this spawn lot. So it seems to be that we go through an area where we'll find loads of Pokemon back to back, and then you'll go through an area where you seem to find loads of Pokeballs. It definitely seems to be a bit of a 50-50 mix between them, although we are seemingly getting them in batches. And while we're out here as well, we will just do a route. Pub to pub seems to go this way, so we'll do that one. So into the last 10 minutes, just the one shiny so far today during this very, very weird April Fool's Day on Pokemon Go. And of course we have had a hundo, although it was probably caught earlier today, this hundo electrode. Quite a nice hundo to be getting in the wild during this event. Again, an electrode, normal electrode this time. Both normal and Hisuian is available during this event. Although the normal Voltorb definitely seems to be more common, and therefore the normal electrode definitely seems to be more common than the Hisuian one. We've only seen a handful of Hisuian, and there is a Hisuian Voltorb as we speak. And of course, might be down to the fact that it's shiny boosted. It's therefore less common in the wild. It's 1 in 64 perma boosted for the Hisuian form. Same with the Stunfisk. We've not seen much of the Galarian Stunfisk, and again that is perma boosted, 1 in 64 for Galarian Stunfisk shiny. And that's probably the reason why they are a little bit harder to find. Just makes those shinies not as accessible. But most of the spawns tend to be the last two Pokemon we found, Fungus and Voltorb. Now, there is a Kecleon on this stop here, which we'll just knock off. And see if this is our second shiny of the day. It would be a very, very nice shiny if it was. Unfortunately, not the case. The shiny Kecleon, its little red stripe on its body does go to a blue colour. It's quite a nice shiny, and obviously a very, very rare shiny, because it is full odds. It's 1 in 512 for this guy to be shiny. And of course, you don't see him very often on those Pokestops. Probably the first Kecleon I've seen for a few days now. You have to be at the right place at the right time. And he will only stop on a Pokestop for around about half an hour before he despawns, similar to a rocket stop. Similar sort of timing to those. And there is a Hisuian electrode. As we were mentioning, seems to be a lot less common than the normal electrode. And there is the normal one straight after it. This is probably our third Galarian Stunfisk that we've actually found during the hour. So not been a common spawn at all, glaring stunfisk. Hey Emma, how are you? Thanks very much for joining. We are just currently doing this rather weird spotlight hour with all these Pokeballs around. Thanks very much for joining the chat and joining the live stream. We've got around about 6 minutes left of this very weird spotlight hour. Of course, April Fools, it was always going to bring some sort of event. We've had Ditto featured in events in the past, and also Zorua, where we disguise as your buddy and other Pokemon. But it is really, really weird seeing these Pokeballs on the floor around you. And of course, they are based on the Pokemon which do disguise as Pokeballs off the anime series. Of course, Fungus looks very much like a Pokeball from the top. We have Glaring Stunfisk, which has a Pokeball look on its nose. And that in the anime series buries itself in sand and keeps that up to try and attract battles. And then, of course, we have the classic Voltorb, which obviously has two different forms, the Hisuian and the normal. In terms of shinies today, we've had one shiny during the spotlight hour so far. We have 5 minutes left of it now, but just a one shiny to report. And that is a shiny Voltorb, the normal form, the Generation 1 form, and not the more increased shiny odds of the Hisuian Voltorb. So it goes to a lovely blue colour, the normal Voltorb does, which we'll have a look at in just a moment, towards the end of the spotlight hour. But let's just do these next 4 or 5 minutes now, and then we'll have a quick review. And most of those are Pokeballs then. So of course the spawns can be Pokemon which disguise as Pokeballs, and they can also just be Pokeballs, so you can actually pick up items such as Pokeballs, Great Balls and Ultra Balls. So it's quite good in that respect, like you can pick those items up. But of course with these guys, they aren't really easily to catch, so you will end up spending quite a few Pokeballs trying to catch these. So it's perhaps a good thing that we've put the additional Pokeballs in the wild. I wish you did that for more events. Or perhaps didn't disguise them as Pokemon, that would perhaps be a bit more useful. So Fungus. So 3 more minutes left of the live stream for today. And of course we went live yesterday during Max Monday. Max Monday and Spotlight Hour will be the consistent streams going forward. So make sure to note that down, or hit subscribe on the channel and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss out on when we do go live. And then we'll also try and go live one of the days over a weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what events it is. This weekend we have Mega Ardeno Raid Day on the Saturday, and we have Tyrogue Hatch Day on the Sunday. So we might be live for Tyrogue Hatch Day. We'll have to see how we get on over the course of the next few days. But if I am live during that Hatch Day, I will let you know by posting it on the YouTube channel. Into the final 2 minutes of this very weird and wonderful spotlight hour. Huge electrode. We didn't catch him, so he's going to reappear again. So if a quick catch fails, it will just respawn the normal Pokemon not return back to a Pokeball. That time we did catch it. Glaring Stunfisk, still not shiny. Although, of course, it is a boosted shiny, as we mentioned before. And of course, Fungus, a full odd shiny again, similar to the blue Voltorb that we had before. So into the last minute, a few more spawns have just popped. That's another thing about this event, you can't see what's on the nearby. The nearby is completely disabled. You can't see what Pokemon are close to you, because in all sense and purposes it's completely hidden until you click on them, what it's going to be. Few last minute Hisuian Voltorbs there, and then we found a standard Pokeball. And there we go, 7 o'clock. So the spotlight hour is finished, and it looks like all the Pokeballs have disappeared as well, unless it's, of course, gone back to those slightly decreased odds where you'll only see them every now and again. But we have now got the normal wild spawns back. Puchena spawning in, where we just had one of those Voltorbs. So, spotlight hour results tonight. A very, very weird and wonderful spotlight hour. But we did get one shiny. We got a shiny blue Voltorb. Very, very nice shiny indeed, although a 0 star on the IVs. But a very, very nice full odds shiny Voltorb. And then we did manage to get a Hundo earlier today. Let's see if we managed to get any more. No, that Electrode is the only Hundo of today, but still a very, very nice Hundo, with it being the evolution of Voltorb. We caught it as an Electrode, not as a Voltorb, and evolved it. It was as an Electrode in the wild, so very, very cool Hundo to find during the day. And of course, XP wise, we didn't put a lucky egg on tonight. The spotlight hour bonus was just 2 times catch candy. And of course, with the Pokemon being very, very different from each other, we couldn't get any consistency with a throw-in, so therefore we didn't bother with a lucky egg. But we are very, very close to that 700 million XP goal, and hopefully we'll hit that later today or tomorrow. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and tune in next time for our live video. Keep those notifications on, and you'll know when we are live. We might even be live during Tyrogue Hatch Day on Sunday, so make sure to tune in for that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.